So for 30 minutes, Cian Egan was like, I just don't think you believe in yourself. And I was like, you listen to me, Cian Egan. At least I know more than to stand up off a stool on a key change. Like, not that I auditioned for anything, but I did The Voice of Ireland.
Oh, yes.
Which luckily never made it to air. But when things went wrong, I just started to mug about and sort of just try to be funny. And that doesn't really play
No,
on
it doesn't. I tend to do that
televised
too.
singing program.
Yeah.
What's wrong with her?
Yeah, I tend to do that. Now, I went the opposite way. I auditioned for the Nancy show. Do you remember the I Do Anything?
Yes.
I auditioned for that back in the day and got to London, got to the second round and got to London. But I decided that I didn't, I think what had happened was I had bereavement in the family, and I didn't want to be that storyline of, Emma's here and she's been recently bereaved, and
because that's what it's like. Because it's not just about auditioning; those programs are TV programs, so there has to be more to it than just how good are you.
I became the most bland person in the world.
Yes,
I did my song, and that was fine. I did one, and then they said, "Sing your next song," and I was like, "Oh, I don't know if I fully thought about this, but okay." Sang my next song, and then Denise Van Outen just went, we don't have time to work on that. That's like a completely different voice. And I was like, rude, okay. But then I had to go out and talk to Graham Norton.
Oh my God.
So you go out and you see someone going, it was a no. And he does his sad face, here she comes. And because I wanted to give nothing away, I was like, oh well, win some, you lose some. And moved on. Didn't make it there.
I had exactly the same experience. So with The Voice of Ireland, which is not as high profile, I'll give you that, as Graham Norton. I can't even remember who was hosting
it. Must have been someone good.
It was, well, you see, it was RTE, and I never even watched RTE, so I was not starstruck by anybody, because I was just like, hey, are you people? I don't know. But it was a bad sign that I got down to do the actual filmed audition, where they have the 4 chairs and they turn around.
Oh, yeah, exciting.
Got as far as that, and when I got down on the day, they said, you're on first, which is never a good sign, because that's basically, if they're going to stick me on first, that's how they check the lights and the sound.
Oh, don't!
They're not going to get they're not going to get their first person through. Like, oh, we found the winner. So I was like, okay, I'm on first. That's fine. And I'd never really done. I'm not a stage, like theatre person or anything like that. So they brought the 4 judges out who were Cian Egan from Westlife, Jamelia. Remember Jamelia?
Oh, I do. Yeah.
Sharon Core. Not the main core, the other core.
But not Jim.
She wasn't the core member.
She wasn't the core member of the course. But not Jim. Imagine that. Jim giving me feedback. All right, Jim. Never seen your face before. So, Cian Egan, Jamila, who was the other one? Niall Breslin, who was
don't know who that is.
He was only really famous down south. I'm sure he's done extremely well.
I'm sure he has.
He's very good looking and very charismatic, right? Okay. So those were the 4. And to film the TV programme, they would bring the 4 of them in and do a big thing with the audience. Like, here come the judges. They'd all sit in their chairs facing the stage, and then they'd get a shot of the chairs all turning around ready for the first person to come out. So as this was happening, they brought the 4 of them in. They were all like one at a time, big round of applause. They all sat down, still facing the stage. And the stage manager backstage with me went, yep, on you go. And he was talking to somebody else on his walkie-talkie, and I thought he meant me, and I walked out on stage. The 4 judges were like facing me, right? So I walked out.
Well, so they saw you?
They saw me. They hadn't turned it. The whole point of the show was that it was a blind audition.
Yeah.
So the 4 of them were sitting there, and I walked out and went like this, hiya, and then started to go back, like did a big old Charlie Chaplin, walking backwards, putting my shoulders up and down.
Oh no.
And then a stage manager had to come out and say, can we all pretend that didn't happen? And they turned them around, and then they said, right, out you go again. But I was like, oh my God. So anyway, went out and sang my crap song. Nobody turned around. And I tell you, the pain of that still sits with me.
No, that's awful.
Singing to the back of 4 chairs. I was just like, I just want this to be over.
God.
And the same as you, because I was like, the people who get shown on TV are the ones who crack up, or they just can't cope with not being chosen. So I was like, I'm going to be so calm and so boring. This will never make it to TV. So they turned around and they had to give me feedback for what felt like half an hour, because they're just saying everything they can think of to try and get good sound bites or good clips. But it's brutal. So for 30 minutes, Cian Egan was like, I just don't think you believe in yourself. And I was like, you listen to me, Cian Egan. At least I know more than to stand up off a stool on a key change. Yes. So I was being really polite and thank you for your feedback. Oh, I'll take that on board. And what I hadn't accounted for was my entire family were backstage being filmed watching this, and they lost their goddamn minds. They were like, what? They were screaming at the and the cameras were like, this is great, right? So I was being really, really boring. I was really like, thank you for your feedback. Goodbye. And when I came off stage, same thing. They were like, we just need to get your reaction. If you just come into this room. And I walked into this room and my dad's head was in the lap of the presenter. He was sobbing. Like really, really sort of like, my daughter. My sister was behind a pole. She was so mortified.
Oh, no.
She was just like, I don't want this to be on TV. So she was like hiding behind.
Disowning herself
It
from the whole
was
thing.
horrific. And I was like, this is my fault. I spent all day training myself to not react, and I completely forgot about them. So they were all like, what do you mean? What? Like pushing cameramen out. And what's worse is, I wasn't like their little... I was like 33.
Oh, God.
What was I doing there with my growing up parents? 33. I had just had a career as a teacher. I didn't need my mummy and daddy, but they were all like, my little princess. She can't sing. I spent it didn't air for like 6 months, and I was like, please don't let that have made it to TV, and it didn't.
Okay,
thank God. Although I would love to see it now.
I know, you sort of want to see it, but you don't want it to. You just don't want to be that clickbait. And
from the minute we arrived in, because it's in this building called the Helix down in Dublin.
Oh, yeah.
So it's when you walk in on the ground floor, it's like an atrium all the way up to so all the floors are open. Do you know what I mean? So if you looked over the banister on the top floor, you could see right down. So it was really echoey. And when we first arrived, my poor dad, he wasn't watching where he was going. So we walked in and I was like, can we all just play it low key, please? Like, this is embarrassing enough. Just keep yourselves to yourselves. And we walked in and he tripped over a chair at the front door.
Gosh.
And ended up on his back, and my mum went, oh my God! And this big scream went up. He had to get people over to help him get up, and everybody was like, we're with Teresa Livingstone! We're with Teresa.
they're like, who?
And the worst part of it all, when that was all over, one of the directors came over and he went, we forgot to get clips of you before you went into your audition, so could you come backstage and just look like you're about to do? And I was like, but I already know this isn't
Yes,
going.
exactly.
So I had to then go backstage and be all like, maybe this is it. Maybe it's me. It was horrific.
Oh, God.
Horrific. Yeah.
Oh, I know. Those shows, they were so stressful.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do one now.
I didn't take it to heart as in like, well, I did at the time, to be honest with you. I was like, it's 33 years old.
That was it. You were in the...
You have to realise it's not actually about whether you can sing or not. It is a TV programme. They're cast on a TV programme.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any big story. You know, I hadn't overcome anything. I was just this...
that you were willing to share.
Well, yes. Plus, maybe they could have made a story about this grown woman has brought her entire
Or your dad
extended
could have
family.
auditioned. He might have got on.
But he would have loved it.